This is Dabu 7, an earthquake update, as we're seeing California get hit here with some odd swarming and in a couple different areas. You can see 321 earthquakes have hit the San Francisco area alone just here in this past week. That's a lot of quake activity. They're saying that where the boundary is between the San Andreas and the Cascadia, where they meet, right up here where you see this most recent quake on the right, this is when they're watching big time because they fear an 8-pointer can get generated out of this area. And when this happens, they say that some 777 miles of roadway that run along the coast here, all of it's going to fall like 6.5 feet. Like the whole shelf is going to drop. Floodwaters are going to come in, and it's going to be a disaster that has never been seen in modern times. Now they're watching the area right here that you can see where this 4.7 just hit and was felt by many people, because from here it can unzip either way. Now if you go down to the Hayward Fault on the other side of San Francisco, there is a bunch of swarming right outside of the Hayward. There was even one that just hit there today. I covered this in a separate video. This shows that Hayward area is active. If you look down here, you can see where the Hayward Fault and the Calaveras actually are connected. They're now saying that without a doubt, deep underground, there's a deep connector that connects these fault lines. So if you have the Hayward having some action, it can definitely affect the Calaveras, and then the Calaveras running on down toward the San Andreas Fault. So the San Andreas, when we're watching in Southern California around the Salton Sea, there's several swarms in key areas, really like we've never seen before. These spots are of the key spots. The one down near Indio, again, Salton Sea area type of swarm. The area off the Hayward quake line that we're seeing, and you can see in the swarm in the middle image. And then again where the San Andreas comes up and meets with the Cascadia right off of Eureka there in California, where this most recent big quake just hit. So a lot of activity and a lot of quakes, even if they're not big, it shows there's a lot of movement, something going on here and worth paying attention to. They say it's definitely not normal and that the West Coast is shaking again. Will this lead to a bigger one? Eventually it will. But this swarm, I wouldn't ignore it. Again, San Ramon in this area, all getting hit. I'll update as we see more information on this. Join me for the live streams Monday, Wednesday, and
Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham Rakah Kodash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations unto the hopeful elect. Alright, this video is entitled Earthquakes in Diverse Places / Signs of the End. Alright, and this is all the Lord's doing. You see, now you see here 321 earthquakes, alright, hit San Francisco area in 1 week. Okay, you know, a lot of shaking up, you know, activity going down there, you know, going around down there, you know, and they say that this could eventually lead to a big, you know, earthquake, you know, and at the end of the day, you should know that all this is the Lord's doing. All this is Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua is doing. He's doing this, you know. All right. You know, the Lord said all these things will happen. All these things will come. Yahushua speak about these things, right? He said all these things will come. Okay. Okay. All these things will come, which will signify the end, which we are in now. All right. So I'll just read his description. All right. It says the West Coast is shaking again. In recent weeks, we have witnessed so much seismic activity along the portion of the Pacific Rim a fire that sits directly along the California coastline. There had been hope that the shaking would settle down, but instead it appears to be accelerating. Alright, this is all the Lord's doing. The Lord say these things will come. Yahushai. Alright? Okay, these are signs of the end. Okay, as you will see below, there have been 321 earthquakes in the San Francisco area within the past 7 days. If I was living in Northern California, that would definitely get my attention. Scientists have warned us over and over again that the big one is inevitably coming, and almost every day there are more reminders of this. In fact, San Ramon was just hit by a swarm of more than 30 earthquakes on Monday morning. So you could check out the rest of this. Alright, but at the end of the day, this is the Lord doing this. Okay, Yahushua said these things will come. Okay, this is the end times. And this is not the end of the world. This is just the end of Esau Edom's age. Alright, his rulership, his heaven, alright, is coming down, starting with these elites. Alright, it's coming down. We in the end. Alright. This is Matthew chapter 24. And I'll start at verse 3. It says, And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world? And we in these things now. Alright? We in the latter days. We in these times. Alright? The end of the world, Esau age and whatnot. Alright? Yahushua just now is coming back to make his returning. Alright? And Yahushua answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am a Mashiach, and shall deceive many. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. Alright, and we're seeing these things now. We're seeing tensions rising with the US and Iran. Alright, and that's, that WW3, on the verge, right there. But the Lord is keeping it back because one more prophecy had happened, which is that MOTB. Alright, but we're seeing all these things. But anyway, it says, And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. Alright, all these signs, alright, these earthquakes in diverse places, it have to come to pass. The prophecies have to happen, for the end to come, for Yahushua to come back. Alright? For nation shall rise up against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. Okay, we've seen that now. Well, the video I'll show you, with 321 earthquakes in San Francisco. Alright, pestilences happening. Alright, you see in the US, the snow, a lot of snow and thing, just happening here in January, this year. Alright, I don't know if I think they say it will end in February, that's real cool. Okay, and we know it's Esau, up to these things with his cloud seeding and whatnot. He does do all these things. But at the end of the day, it's the Lord who are doing these things, alright? All these are the beginning of sorrows. Okay, all these are the beginning of sorrows. So all these prophecies have to be lined up, for Yahushua to come. Alright. This is Luke. Slack here. Luke chapter 21. And let's see here. Verse 25, it says, And there shall be signs in the sun, and in the moon, and in the stars, and upon the earth distress of nations. Alright, we're seeing signs and whatnot. Okay, and these latter days. Okay, with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring, men's hearts feeling them for fear and for looking after those things which are coming on the earth. All right, all hell's about to break loose. Okay, we in Jacob's trouble. For the powers of heaven shall be shaken. All right, and then shall they see the Son of Man coming in a cloud. All right, the chariot, the white horse, with power and great glory. Okay, and when these things begin to come to pass, then look up and lift up your heads, for your redemption draweth nigh. All right, we almost out of here. Okay, so all these things have to happen. The earthquakes in diverse places, pestilences, snow, and all the, Jacob's trouble. Okay, we've seen it. A lot of deportation. Okay, I know. He is setting up concentration camps. The MOTB. All right, that the great hour of temptation is coming. And that World War III. Okay, all these things have to be in line. These prophecies have to line up. So Yahushua could come, so he could make his returning. All right, so all these things signifies the end. And we are the ending of Esau's kingdom. We're at the end of his age. All right. This is Second Ezra chapter 9 and verse 1. It says, He answered me then and said, Measure thou the time diligently in itself. All right, we measure the time, through prophecies. Right, that's how we have an idea, that we are at the end, that this place is coming to an end. Esau's kingdom, America, Babylon the Great. All right. And when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. All right, we in that time that Yahushua is coming back. Okay. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, we see in that. Okay. In the States, all right, you see 321 earthquakes in San Francisco, all right. Okay, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. For like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest. All right, the end is manifest. All these signs, all right, and things were happening in the world signifies the end of Esau Edom age. Okay, we are in the end of his kingdom. All right, for like as all Slakia. Verse 6. Even so the times also of the highest have plain beginnings and wonders and powerful works and endings, effects and signs. All right, we've seen lots of signs and whatnot. All right, I think the elder or the brother from St. Jersey, all right, he was showing a man, an image of a man in the cloud, all right, with a afro and a beard. Okay, you could actually see his outline. All right, and his body, you could actually see his body, and the top of his head was a chariot, a circle on top of him, a dark circle, on top of his head. All right, so we, all these things is the signs of the end. All right. Okay, these things showing us that the end is close, and we're glad this is happening because we're almost here. All right. Okay, so so all these things are gonna take place. Okay, all the Jacob's trouble and whatnot we hear. Okay, so I hope this lesson, all right, has been edifying unto the elect. All right, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham Rakah Kodash, double honors unto the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well, peace and salutations unto the hopeful elect. Wa Abad Babal and Shalom.